Right, so this is going to be a little bit of a different video today. I did record a full-length video. Now can't remember what I was talking about. I think it was talking about hip openings. I think I'll move that maybe to another video another day. But basically, having an issue with this phone trying to do these recordings. I recorded like 30-40 minutes worth of rabble. It recorded 2 minutes worth of a video, so I wanted to see if I could at least make a week. This is only day 3, so I didn't want to miss a day today just for this, so I figured that I'd do a little bit of a kind of discussion on my way home. So today's one's just on why I kind of made the move to start doing the kind of personal diary thing. So from when I was younger, I guess like everyone else, we all have these kind of cool ideas of things we want to achieve and things we want to do as we get older. Obviously certain ideas come and go. Some are realistic, some are quite frankly obviously daydreams. There's a few kind of targets kind of had when I was younger that I now appreciate in hindsight. You know, it's one of those things that maybe didn't quite give it the full whack to make sure they were achieved to try and move on to other things, or vice versa. There were kind of ideas that just remained ideas in my head. Kind of looking around, obviously the beauty of social media the way it is now is you see so many people who do just start with that little glimpse, and just there's more room to kind of play to see what they become, and if they go the full way then great, if not then you know you gave it a fair try. And that kind of play, kind of start stop play of trying things out is really what they always say is kind of like brings you to success. So there's a few things kind of thought would just come naturally or would come at some point that just haven't, and now I'm finding myself kind of reaching that early mid-30s where it's kind of like, well, certain things if I don't start reaching for now may not actually, you know, come to be. So this was to try and start making myself kind of accountable for those sort of actions. So it's the kind of goals kind of had, there's a couple, I don't know how this kind of video series will kind of go on it. I don't know if I'll just jump from bit to bit or just focus on completely on one goal until it's hit and then start discussing the next one. But there's a few things. So one of them's obviously I've been talking about a lot in the last couple of videos is the yoga. So I think I made the discussion always when I kind of took it on, I thought it was a really good way of kind of giving back, a very alternative look on things compared to what I was used to. Obviously longevity wise, so I want to be able to do cool badass things for as long as possible. So that's not like a, you know, kind of start in your 20s and go out in a ball of flames by the time you're 28 sort of mentality. I want to be able to do cool things, have fun with it, and keep doing the cool things and keep having fun and keep that going for as long as possible. I don't want to be one of those people who maybe reaches 50 and it's kind of like, oh, I can't run anymore because I've done my knees in, I can't do X because I didn't take care of Y. I want to be able to kind of push myself and get that, you know, almost that feeling you get when you were in your 20s, early 20s, that novelty, that rush, and keep that going as long as possible. So for me, that avenue at the moment is yoga. It forces a few things on myself, so such as the stretching, the kind of mental ability to just take a deep breath and stop. And it's amazing, just a couple minutes of soft eyelids and deep breathing, it's amazing how it can feel like you've just had, you know, like an hour's break. It's just amazing how much your head just clears. personally, a lot of the more kind of spiritual side of it isn't really my forte. I appreciate, it's for some people that's how you shape the world in your head, and if that helps you make the world make sense, then all for it. There's some aspects, even if I don't 100% get on board with, can still appreciate at least the intention, where it's come from. I, like most people, kind of got into it more in the physical way, and then all the kind of mental mind space, mindfulness way kind of was almost like an added bonus, even though for yoga that is the target thing. And really, I'd like to get to a point of competency with it where I can, first of all, remember all the Sanskrit. So that's goal number one. As if people who know me will know, names and words do not stick in my head at all. I am a numbers guy through and through. Cannot deal with names. They just drip away. They don't even go in one ear and out the other. They just don't enter the first ear at all. Same with and then so that's goal number one. Goal number two is to do, the postures are awesome. It's the physical part, it's the first thing you see. There's obviously the stuff that helps stretch you out, helps you kind of do that active recovery, helps make sure you've got that full range of mobility. And then there's the cool stuff. So there's the cool looking asanas. That's your kind of like your stuff you see all the Instagram poses. You type in yoga, you type in flexibility, it's all those really cool postures. A bit like, gymnastics. There's certain things that just look really cool, and I would like to be able to kind of put them in my repertoire of what I'm able to do. And then third of all is to get, competent enough to comfortably teach without notes, really. So I can run a class without having a little reminder to refer myself to, not enough to like be anxious when you go into those, like to do it enough and be confident with it enough. It's just another Monday type of idea. So that's where I would like to get with that. What I think will help is I do have a yoga channel where I'm trying to post videos, classes for people to follow along. I'm trying to base them more around kind of active lifestyles, so kind of recovery from busy people doing busy things. Obviously, I'm not in my early 20s anymore, so it gets harder to relate to. I've never been in my 40s or 50s, so can't relate to. But I'm trying to almost not educate, but it's like people going from their 20s, they can get a prep on what's ahead. People my age, obviously I can relate to. I know what they're going through at the moment. Videos around that, things are starting to creak, all that sort of stuff. And then maybe for the people who are a few years older than me, and have left it that few more years before kind of taking care of the old body. So that's my kind of aim on the yoga side. When it comes to other goals, so there's a few that I've always hung around. There's a few kind of just personal ones, a few relative ones. So there's a couple of work aspects. One would be, so in the engineering world is chartership. I think it's the last thing on my kind of guidelines for work that I want to try and achieve. And really it's just to kind of evidence that, I'm a fully fledged professional engineer. It's always been a little bit of a sticking point because engineer is just one of those kind of vague, wide-ranging areas where, to be honest, you never know if you're doing it right. Well, you know if you're doing it right, but it's very hard to compare your capabilities just because there is so much to know at all stages of it. Certain companies are more specialized, so some people might know more about a very particular area, and some people will know vast amounts that are slightly higher level. Obviously you're more like general knowledge guys, and it's very hard to kind of gauge where you're at, whereas at least the governing body that allows you to get chartered, it's kind of like a first step on knowing you're basically started on that good path. I don't know what's happening with the camera. It's kind of steaming up on itself, which is interesting. Personal goals. So there's a few. I think I've mentioned a few times in these videos, but my main kind of sport I do recreationally is swimming. So it's usually mainly swimming and going to the gym, and the gym's usually to support the swimming. So that's my. If there's one piece of advice I could give people, is when you're in your 30s, pick up a sport or some sort of physical hobby, because you don't realize how much it does to just kind of keep you on the ball. I've seen people in much better shape than me back in their early 20s just kind of drop off by this point, and it's amazing how it does creep up on you. Having, being 30, your metabolism slows a little bit, years of just sitting at a desk eating biscuits, it does creep up. No matter like what anyone's ego says about it, it does eventually catch up with you, and sport's kind of one of those good ways to kind of almost humble you. So I find with a lot of people, they get to 30 and you'll be watching, football with them, you'll be watching the boxing, blah blah blah, and they'll talk about how easy or how they should have done X, Y, and Z. And I even find it myself, if I've kind of been away on holiday for a week doing nothing, I'll come back and I'm like, I'm raring to go, I'm going to absolutely beast this. And then you get in, and the first move you make, you're like, oh, this feels disgusting, I feel horrible. And it's just humbling to, be more realistic about how difficult and how much effort goes into things. So and it gives you more of appreciation for the people who do keep going at it, people who still get up day by day, or do things on a professional level. It does give you more of an appreciation for what they do, and then at the same time it helps everything moving, keeping that metabolism going, stops you slowing down, and really keeping fit and healthy at the end of the day. Obviously the advantage with still doing the swimming is that thermogenic burn, baby. Just helps keep burning the calories literally just from being in water. That thermogenic effect carries on the rest of the day. You won't quite get the same burn if you're doing something like archery, but not everyone's got to be able is going to want to do the same sport. So whatever your kind of hunger is, whatever takes your fancy and takes your interest, I'd find a way to kind of make it happen, ideally before you're in your 30s. But once you're in your 30s, find a way that makes it happen, whether it's a sport you used to do as a kid, or you take up one of the new cults like high rocks, etc., half marathons. It's like, just get it in. Don't take it overly seriously. Like, none of us are going to be professionals at this age, but just enjoy it. And it's amazing how the effects of the change will occur to you. So for me, it's swimming, and there's a few goals I've had in that since my early 20s. They're not crazy times that I want. They're times that I think the way the sport's going now, 14, 15 year olds are now absolutely smashing through, but I didn't do them when I was 14, 15. I'm now in my 30s, and that's my goal now. So for me personally, it is going, so one thing that's always been a bugbear of mine is I've never been sub 60 seconds for 100 meters freestyle, and that is always stuck with me. So one of my goals at the moment, are actually the main goal that overtakes just about everything else I'm doing, is getting that sub 60 time. So I do have 2 or 3 races between now and Christmas to try and give it a go. I've been trying to, you know, for as much seriousness as you give a hobby, to try and achieve that time. So time will tell. I might keep you updated on that one. That one's a bit personal for my own well-being to get over. It's been a bit of a drawback. And then the other ones are just a bit of fun. So the 100 breaststroke, I would like to get to a 109. I think the last time I raced it was a 112, so a little bit of work there. And for 200 breaststroke, 241 I think, so a 239 would be nice. And then for the 50 breaststroke's my main stroke. I would like, don't think I've ever gone a 32. I would really like a 32 in it. So those are kind of my personal goals on there. So that's kind of like a wee summary of some of the goals I'm trying to hold myself accountable to. And even if I don't quite know, again, how to format it, whether it's I do one at a time or I kind of need to stagger them all intermingling and I'll just kind of jump between. Well, time will tell, but it would be interesting to know for anyone, if anyone listens to this, what the kind of preferred viewing would be. Would it be that coherency of watching one goal from start to finish, or would it be kind of watching that accumulation of watching little bits and bobs get ticked off? I feel like the little bits and bobs getting ticked off would be more interesting. We'd diversify the videos a bit, but there is kind of a certain satisfaction in seeing someone, you know, kind of start where they're at, do the hero's journey, and then you know, finish their quest with their reward. So yeah, let me know if anyone's listening, if there's a preference on that. So that's another day done. What do we start with? We had gym this morning, then worked all day, then we failed to do that video. That is something I need to have a look at. So the problem with this phone is it keeps giving up on me. I don't know if it's just too much physically on the camera, and I think it times itself out with low storage, or it panics that it can't save something, so it decides to stop the video and give me a warning instead. But the problem is, because it's facing away from me, I can't see it. So I'll either try keep using the phone, or I might just go on to a proper camera instead, see if that works a little bit better. Went for a swim, did an hour of sprint work, and now we're back home. So been a pretty good day and all, apart from that little slip up. The yogurt tonight is the same as last night. It never comes through very well. We've got the skyr, the blueberries, a little bit of granola for the crunch, chia seeds, and a little bit desiccated coconut tonight. Just, you know, it's a Friday night, might as well treat myself. So I'm gonna get this wolf down, get to bed, start it all again tomorrow, and I'll see you then. Peace.